What's up, everybody? Alright, I'm at the JCT home mothership in Sapulpa, Oklahoma right now. Alright, so I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of drama there, needlessly, in the last video. No problems at all here, actually. Well, with the exception of the fact I'm not in my own truck right now, but it is what it is. So I figured I'd give you guys some updates, what's going on, how everything all went, what's coming up next, and all that kind of good stuff, whatever. I'm going to also respond to some comments on this as well, since we got a little bit of, yeah, since I don't have a good dash cam I can work with right now. I mean, my dash cam is here in the truck, but I think the plug for it is no good. I ended up ordering a new plug for it. I don't know when it'll be at my house, but I will be picking up a reload this afternoon in Enid, Oklahoma, at basically the Tyson facility there. It's called Advanced Pierre. It's right up the street from where the Love's truck stop is, pretty much. Or more so, the FedEx facility is right at the corner of US 412 and whatever that street's at. It's called. If you go straight up that road a couple miles, somewhere on there, on the left side is the Tyson plant, basically. So we'll be picking that up there, and we'll be going to Modesto, California with it. That one delivers on the 25th of April, I believe, if I remember right. I'll probably be staying around Southern Cal after that, or somewhere in California. After that load, because I have a doctor's appointment on the 29th to get that looked at. If you guys didn't already get the updates from the previous videos, I had skin cancer surgery. Had a basal cell carcinoma removed there. They got everything, so I'm good to go. But I know the doctor wants to do a follow-up to make sure it's healing properly, remove the stitches if there's anything left of them by the time I show up there. Because he says they're dissolving stitches, and they're still there. I mean, I can feel them and all that. I can barely see them, but still there. So that's what's going on there, though, with that part. Last time I posted, I was in between Omaha and Madison, Wisconsin, on my way to Madison to make a delivery. Alpha Omega, that's the name of the customer in Madison. Small little place there on I guess I would say the south end of Madison, right off of Highway 18, I think it was, something like that. Or 151 and 18, I think, run together or something like that through that area. I was right off of there. Got there early and ended up just sleeping in the dock door before they showed up. I guess they started their day around 7:38 or whatever it was, and the guy woke me up and told me to go ahead and open your doors and slide over to the next door over, because there were two dock doors, and then they had a couple of their own trailers docked into my left. So he told me to dock into the one that's closest to the door, the stairs and door that he uses to get in and out of the warehouse, and got that done. There was only 10 pallets coming off there, and of course it was a beef load that it was all beef that I picked up from Tolleson, Arizona. On the way out of there, though, I want to give you guys a reminder, if you're in a four-wheeler particularly. Okay, now normally in a truck, when you're making a turn where there's multiple turn lanes, doesn't matter if you're making a right turn or a left turn, and I know this is arguable depending on how much trucking experience you have, which I've already talked about. Generally, the standard procedure is use the outer turn lane if you're in a truck. However, there are certain intersections that are actually set up specifically so trucks can make turns from the inner lane if they know that they either want you to stay in the right lane, or if it's a right turn, or like in my home neighborhood right there, that same exit I used to get to my house with. It's a left turn followed by another left turn that I have to make. Make sure I'm sure I'm not losing battery power. Nope. All right, good. Yeah, I'm getting off of I-15 southbound on Nisqually Road in Victorville. There's two left turn lanes there. I use the inner left turn lane there, but only because I know that I can make the turn without encroaching on the adjacent turn lane, and also without having my tandems get stuck on or bouncing over the island there that separates the on ramp and the off ramp. So there are exceptions to the rules right there. Like I mentioned before, experienced truckers will always tell you to stay in the rightmost lane to protect your blind side, but that's kind of gone by the wayside as far as CDL school training is concerned, because most trucks nowadays have hood mirrors on them, and there is no blind side right there over to the side of your tractor. Like there used to be. There are still blind spots on some tractors out here. There's a good number of tractors out here that don't have hood mirrors. Even new trucks come without them sometimes. But they usually always have a sensor there to alert you, like a light and an audible sensor that tells you that there's somebody there, at the very least. So anyway, I was leaving the customer and getting ready to turn back onto the street that would get me back over to Highway 18, I guess I would call it. I don't remember the name of that street, but coming up on the intersection, I noticed that the inner right turn lane was wide enough where I could use the inner lane, go out, go straight out where I wasn't going to encroach on the outer right turn lanes area, and make my turn without my tandems running over the curb. So I set up in the inner lane. A car comes up and is on my left, and the light turns green. We both start going. Of course, the car accelerates faster than me, especially with this damn auto shift, because I can sit there and smash the the accelerator pedal, and I feel like it takes 2 seconds for the truck to react to my pedal input at all. So one of the things I don't like about auto shift. Anyway, that's another story. But okay, so this is one of these intersections where the intersection itself has those those curved hash marks that go through there to tell you where to delineate where your lane ends and the other lane begins, while you're in the middle of the turn. So I'm pulling forward because I need to go out far enough so my tandems aren't getting caught up on the curb or hitting the light pole or whatever. I'm in my part of that lane. I'm still to the right of the hash marks that go out and then the curve. Well, car that was next to me decides it was going to cut across those hash marks, and came pretty close to me hitting their rear right quarter panel area with the front of my tractor, because they cut the corner. I see this all the time, guys. When you're driving your cars, don't cut the corners. Yeah, and I'm one of those assholes too, where like if I know that I'm coming up on a red light and I see left turn traffic that's not a truck, even in my personal vehicle, I'll do this. I'll go right up on the limit line and make them make their turn the correct and honest way. That way, if you hit me, then it's completely on you, because I'm still at or behind my limit line. It's a really bad habit that I noticed that the general motoring public has, is cutting corners. And and those of you guys who come to the trucking industry from that kind of habit, you're going to have an accident when you do that. Guaranteed. You're going to have some kind of a turning accident where you're not watching your tandems, and you're going to take out someone else's truck while you're trying to maneuver around them in a truck stop parking lot, or maybe you'll hit an island or a barrier or something. Something's going to happen, though. All right, so anyway, I think that kind of covers that. I don't want to make this incredibly long, because I do want to get pre-tripping and moving. And like I say, so I'm going to be picking up in Enid, Oklahoma this afternoon. I'm going to be leaving here pretty soon and taking the load to Modesto. With that, I will go ahead and look at some of the questions or comments, whatever, that were left on some of my past videos. I don't know where to start off, because I don't know where where I left off from the last time I responded to questions. Okay, I believe I addressed BLZ Capital's question about why not use GPS. That was asked in my pickup at Tyson Foods in Waldron, Arkansas video. Yeah, and there are a lot of good reasons why I don't. One, I like to know in advance what I should be prepared for. What turns do I need to make? What highways do I need to look for, and all that? And know in advance, hey, I'm looking for this specific highway or this specific exit number, or maybe I see some railroad tracks somewhere, and I want to know in advance if that's going to be a concern at all. Those are good examples, I guess. And every mishap I hear about involving a truck, hey, they're on a route they're not supposed to be on, or they hit a low bridge or something. It never seems to fail. They all have a common link to them. I was following my GPS. 2 or 3 years ago, actually, we had a mishap here at JCT, in which a driver, I think what I want to say, they were probably picking, I don't know the details, but knowing where the incident occurred, I can draw a pretty good conclusion about what actually happened. So we had a driver that was evidently picking up a load from the Tyson facility in Russellville, Arkansas, right off of I-40, about an hour drive west of Little Rock, if you guys don't know where that's at. Also, I have videos here on my channel of me picking up there, so you can also search my channel for Russellville or Pottsville or Tyson, whatever, and you'll probably find it. Anyway, most of us come from the exit where the Pilot and Flying J truck stops are at there, off of exit 84, I believe it is. And, and we'll go down to the end of the street in front of where the Conagra facility is, and then turn left and follow that road down a couple miles, and then make a right into the Tyson facility. This incident was a bridge strike, and it was a driver who was right down the street from that Tyson plant. If you keep going down that Tyson plant further to the east toward the next exit down, there's a right turn you can make onto a street. I can't remember, was it called River, or I don't even remember. I'd have to look at the map, and I'm not really concerned about that detail. But you can make a right turn. This driver's GPS told them to make that turn there. I'm assuming the driver missed their turn into the Tyson plant or something, and wanted to circle back around, and their GPS decided to tell them to turn right on this street. Problem is, there's an 11-foot something bridge, a railroad bridge there, not even a quarter of a mile after you make the turn onto that street. There was a sign right there at the intersection saying that there's a low bridge on this street. And there's another low bridge sign just before you got to the bridge. Driver still hit it. Driver was just busy following their GPS, not paying any attention to the signs. And that's cardinal rule number 1 when you're driving a truck. Watch all signs. Read every single sign you see. Don't miss one single sign. And when you do your CDL test, they'll actually test you on that to see if you're paying attention to them. So, I mean, and I know what was going on was she was, if you look at it on a map, and I will show you that. Why not? Okay, so right here is the Tyson Foods facility I'm talking about. And right here it's River Road. That's what I thought it was called. Right here where you can see the railroad tracks right here on the map. I mean, even at this view level. Let me zoom out some more. Hey, look at that. I can still see railroad tracks. And this road is not a yellow or orange or whatever road, so that's more of a reason to be concerned about it crossing railroad tracks. So if I zoom in, I can see railroad tracks right there. And I'm going to come back out. I'm apt to believe that maybe this driver thought they could come down river, come back over here to 247, come back up to 64, and then take 64 back over to the Tyson facility. That's the impression I had of why that actually happened. the easier thing to do would have just been for her to come straight down the street here, get back on the westbound side of 40, come back over here to the exit where Flying J and Pilot are at, and circle back around. That's not what happened, though. And like I said, follow GPS, and that kind of thing happens here. So if you look over here at this Shell station on the street view, 11'6" bridge right there. Very easy to, you can't miss it. Okay, maybe you can. It's probably hidden behind this Highway 331 sign and maybe the bush or something. But even before you go down the street here, there's the bridge right there. Yeah, it's a curve, but if you're looking down the road like you're supposed to be doing, you can see that bridge, and you can see that it's definitely too low. If you're paying any attention at all, you should know that that bridge is too low to get underneath. Okay, I don't want to go too into the weeds with that kind of that topic there. That can be a whole nother post actually on its own, I would say. So let me move on. Let's see, Cryptonymicus. Well, you're right. GPS ain't always right, but 99% of people are going to lie when facing the police rather than admit they screwed up. Yeah, that is, I mean, there is some of that goes on too. People do lie. But yeah, again, say if you know what's coming up, if you do proper trip planning, you're not using GPS. I mean, I'm not saying don't use GPS. I'm saying use GPS in a more intelligent way or appropriate way. So, not so much intelligent, but do your trip planning first, and then make sure your GPS is set up to follow the exact route that you trip planned, and then follow your GPS. Don't just follow your GPS blindly. If anyone's teaching you how to follow, teaching you to follow your GPS blindly, and when they're teaching you how to drive a truck, then they should not be a trainer. They're not teaching you properly. Even the trucking companies don't want the trainers doing that. But unfortunately, trainers normally do it that way. All right. So again, moving on though. Okay. Well, again on the GPS idea, there I was on the why I don't use GPS devices or apps post. I remember when I was dispatching how many drivers would freak out when some places would not come up on GPS. There were many locations I would tell drivers that GPS will take you to the wrong place, and they would still call saying they were lost. We even had printed directions for every location on the account. All right, so that was a really good example there. We have a customer here at JCT over in Wilmington, California. That's actually a good example of what Chuck's Tech and Coasters mentioned in that post. It's called Channel Islands Logistics. You can look them up on the map, and actually, I'll even show you myself. Why not? We're on this anyway. So Channel Islands Logistics is down here in the Long Beach area, south of LA. I'm going to come down here, and it's probably this one right there. It's on Pacific Coast Highway, which is Highway 1. Yeah, that's it right there. Okay, so the address for this place actually says Pacific Coast Highway. Now, when we get our load assignments, it actually says PCH. So your GPS, if you're following it, is going to try to make you turn into that or think that it's right here. And you're like, well, how do I get to it? But they're right here. You can look on the satellite view and actually look down and see them. Okay, this facility right here. But what you don't know is, if you might not realize, is to get to this place, you have to come down here on O Street, or basically it's the Alameda Street or Highway 47 access road, and come down here. And then right here underneath PCH, there's another street that you cannot see because PCH is covering it. You come down here, and this street's loaded with homeless people, like RVs and whatever, campers, homeless people living there. And then you turn here into the lot. So that's an example of where following your GPS, or sometimes your GPS is not really sure where to put you. Another thing, remember, I have map editing experience both with Waze and Google, and I mean anybody can do the map editing stuff, but getting this, and they have people who actually oversee what you do. They can find your mistakes and educate you, whatever, or they can even take away your editing privileges if you're messing things up too much. But now, one of the things here is the pin placement. Generally speaking, when you're using GPS, wherever the pin for the location is actually placed, it'll tend to take you to the street that is, about the street that is closest to where the pin is located. So if you have two streets here right next to each other, and your Google pin is maybe if your pin is supposed to be taking you to this street, but the pin is actually closer to that street, then it's likely your GPS is going to take you to the other street. And I've seen cases also where there's a street that's behind the property you want that might be residential and is not truck legal and all that, and the GPS will take you to that street instead because that's where the pin is closest to. There's another one that's available online somewhere where a truck went into a cemetery because they were trying to get to their customer that was nearby, and GPS led them into the cemetery because it was the closest place there was to the pin location. So, yeah, and I can't stress enough, do good trip planning. Don't just sit there and blindly follow GPS. Never blindly follow GPS. Okay, I think I've covered GPS more than enough, I hope. We'll kind of go over some of the other stuff because there was a lot of discussion on that one. Anthony Griffo, you always give me a hard time about coming east. Anthony is a friend I know through Scotty D67. I actually met up with him one time. I actually had him in one of my videos a while back. Last time I think when I delivered in Hunts Point, New York, and ended up reloading in New Jersey, I met up with him and did a little bit brief live stream with him on there. Anthony, now I don't know what the future has in store for JCT after the Hirschbach acquisition of us, but I do know that Hirschbach does a lot of loads on I-80, and I guess they do a lot of northeast, out in your direction. So that does mean more loads in that direction could become available, or probably will become available for JCT drivers. And likewise, California loads will be a lot more available to Hirschbach drivers than they used to be. I don't know if that's going to translate to me coming into your neck of the woods much more, but I don't know. We'll see. Because my DM and the planners all know that I run anything, anywhere, anytime. But most of our freight is west, and they do have a tendency to try to keep drivers in their home regions, just because the retention numbers are better when drivers get home more frequently. Even if I'm not taking time off, if I'm home more but still running miles, then I'm not. Drivers like me are less likely to go somewhere else. Not a problem for me, but someone from JCT who might live on the East Coast that has a little bit more limited number of loads to do. Or as it is right now, we got a driver who I guess lives somewhere in the Denver area and is having a hard time getting home because we don't do that much in the Denver area. I just did that last load that stopped in Aurora, but that was the first of 3 stops on that load, and so that wasn't a good home time load that would have been used. So I think a smart thing to do there would be hire people who live in areas where you have freight, and then start expanding the freight network to other areas, and then start hiring more people in the areas that you can actually get to a little bit more frequently. These are some of the lessons I learned, I guess, if I were to start my own company. There's a lot I don't know as far as managing and owning a trucking company is concerned. Christeners have been doing it for 35 years, something like that. Somewhere around 35 years, maybe a little bit more now. They've been doing it a long time. They've learned a lot of lessons, and they know a hell of a lot more about how things work and why they do it the way they do it than I can imagine right now. I mean, I have some ideas, but like I said, I can't just observe. Like for 6 years of driving, observe, and 4 years with JCT, and automatically know everything there is to know. That's impossible. But that's kind of give you an idea. I don't know. I might end up out that way again someday. So, I mean, I will, and I'll let you know if I end up back out in that in your area. Moving on. Charles Wright, another regular with the previous one I would live stream. I thought about live streaming this video, but I wanted to be able to go back and forth between the screen view and all that. And I'm using my tablet, not my phone, and I don't, because I know I wanted to present stuff here on Google Maps without, but having the better view to show you guys on YouTube. So I ended up electing not to live stream this particular time, but I do have a second phone here in my truck now that is my son's old phone. So when I do get back in my own truck, and I'm going to end up setting that other phone up, and I probably will have some live streams coming for you guys once I can get that back up and running, all right? Because like I mentioned, there are times where I want the phone, the live streaming phone, to be in landscape mode so I can so you guys can see what's going on outside out the windshield. But I like to have another phone set up so I can manage my music or map views, weather, check weather, stuff like that. Because sometimes weather can change, and just like what happened on the last load. Wasn't expecting strong winds, and all of a sudden I drive into strong winds, and I quickly need to take a look at what's in front of me and what to expect, and whether I should get off the road or not. All right, but anyway, Charles, we had talked about your friend who was a pilot who flies C-5M Super Galaxies at Travis Air Force Base. I actually did a delivery we actually do a lot of deliveries, or not a lot, but a fair amount of deliveries to a place that's right there by Travis Air Force Base. It's called Hard Dog Glass. Right there on the north end, just north of where the base perimeter is, pretty much. And I have video of that, I believe, of the one time I did actually go there, and you can see me actually going around Travis. Anyway, C-5 is the largest aircraft in the U.S. military inventory. I will include a picture of that here, so those of you guys who are not familiar with what a C-5 is can get an idea of what it looks like. It's a very large aircraft, though. So that's basically what it is. I never personally worked on them per se, with the exception of a 2-week trip to Elmendorf Air Force Base, Alaska, which is up in Anchorage. I did a couple of weeks of en route support there. And it was just nothing but C-5s coming in and out of there on the way to and from like Japan or Korea or back out to the East Coast U.S. or something. Or even back down to Travis, who knows. That's the only time I really did any work on a C-5. Otherwise, I have no real experience on that aircraft type. Okay, next one. Let It Snow. You asked a question about the China Eastern Airlines Flight 5735 crash. You wanted me to make a video on that, so I'll go ahead and address that here. There's very little available out there that I can tell. I mean, it's China involved, and you know how communist nations are with securing information and not divulging anything to the general public. So I'm not sure that anybody, even actual aviation industry experts or crash investigators from the U.S. will necessarily ever know, because how much access are they being given to the crash site or to do their own investigations by the Chinese government. There's very little out there that I know. I just know that it nosedived from altitude and went down very fast. I did see one video that the way it went down, it almost looked like it was digitally altered, like some made-up video of an airplane. But I think it could have possibly been an actual video of the aircraft crashing. But the problem is it came down at the angle relative to the camera view was completely sideways. So it just looked like the plane was coming straight down, and I really couldn't tell if the wings were still on it or not. And I don't have any information on how large the crash site footage, crash site area was, like how far apart the debris field is, because that can tell you a lot about whether an aircraft was mostly intact or intact when it impacted the ground, or if it broke up in flight. Generally speaking, an aircraft that breaks up in flight is going to have a larger debris field, um, maybe it'll be a more focused debris field where the fuselage is at. But maybe if a wing or tail or something fell off the aircraft, those might be found miles away from where the rest of the crash site was, possibly. So I have not seen anything in the any info about how large that debris site was, so, or where anything was found. So I'm curious to know about that. What could have possibly caused it? This is all speculation. There's no way to know, but I do have that question mark about whether we had a suicidal pilot in the cockpit, or if major component like a wing uh, broke off. Although the video that I did see, again, this is assuming that it's even real footage of the aircraft and not someone's homemade footage made to look like the plane crashing. Um, it wasn't in any kind of a spin. It just looked like it was going straight down. And normally I would expect that if the wings are intact, but maybe it lost the vertical stabilizer. But yeah, and I'm trying to jog my memory. I thought I might have seen the vertical stab still attached on that one, which is why I really wonder if that video I saw was digitally altered. When I worked on KC-135s, actually, we had not one of ours, but another unit's KC-135s going into Kyrgyzstan. And actually, someone from my own base who I know personally, not friends with him, but I know him. He knows me, and actually, yeah, I remember buying a swing set, or like a playground thing from him for my kids a long time ago. He was on this particular aircraft, and the very next day, the day after he landed there in Kyrgyzstan, the plane flew again and had a rudder. What is it? A rudder. A problem with the rudder. A piece of the rudder system. One of the controls inside the rudder system, inside the vertical stab. It was a part that I regularly worked with. It's like been 6.5, getting close to 7 years since I retired, though, so I'm trying to remember the name of the part. But it's part of the, because the rudder system on the KC-135, it can be flown either just manually with control cables or with the hydraulic assist. And part of that hydraulic assist part of it was involved in it. Anyway, the plane was like, I think it was porpoising, is what we call it, and it ended up causing the fin to completely break off the aircraft, and the aircraft crashed and killed everybody on board. I don't know if this China Airlines crash, or China Eastern Airlines crash, is going to be similar to what happened there, or if it was something else. So. It could have even been something else, like maybe with what happened with the 737 Max, where the computer took over and the pilots didn't know how to regain control of it, and the computer wouldn't let them regain control. And again, this is where it's like you can't have too much automation. Too much automation is exactly why some of these accidents are happening. So there's that. I don't know. And then also, usually on the elevator systems on aircraft, most all the ones that I've worked on, they all have generally you have the control columns that come down from each pilot, and then underneath the cockpit, or as we call it, the flight deck, there will usually be like what's called a torque tube that connects the two control columns. So when you pull back, the torque tube rotates like this. Well, on that torque tube, there's usually a shear bolt. So that way, if the controls are jammed and maybe one person's side can't operate, they can force it They can force the controls enough where they break the shear bolt, and the controls now from between the pilot and co-pilot will separate. And it's also like that, so that way if you get a rogue pilot, one of the other pilots can still try to keep control of the aircraft in some way. KC-135s have that set up. C-17s have it. C-130s, all the airplanes I worked on, generally they all have that type of arrangement. Different, a little bit of some differences there with how they're designed, but they have that capability. So there's so many ways that crash investigation could go. I'm really interested in knowing more about that one myself. I need more info to work with, though. Okay, Jose Osnaya, 8 days ago in my pickup at Ventura Foods in Ontario, California video, wanted to know what state do I come from? I'm gonna guess you haven't been watching my channel very long, Jose. But welcome. I say that because I'm always in California, and I regularly talk about going home to my home in Victorville, California. So, and actually even do lots of videos of me stopping there. So, yeah, I'm from California, Victorville, which is about roughly 80 miles from downtown LA, on the way between LA and Las Vegas. For any of those of you guys who are newer to my channel and not familiar with Cali, that's pretty much where I'm from. Grew up was born in San Bernardino and grew up in Barstow, which is about halfway between LA and Vegas, and went to college in Idaho, then went to active duty and spent my active duty time in Arizona. You guys saw a live video recently of me at least attempting to go on a live stream going on base. Wasn't going to go show a bunch of stuff that you weren't supposed to see, but I at least wanted to show maybe the Heritage Park aircraft. Anyway, that's another topic there. Then I ended up doing the rest of my full 20-year career in the Air Force Reserve at March A Reserve Base, and one of my recent videos was also done from there, so you guys can check that out if you haven't already seen it. Get at least a little bit of a taste of where I worked and what kind of aircraft I worked on. I do show those two types there. Not in detail, but I was right underneath one of the airplanes when I was live streaming one of those. The KC-135. Otherwise though, I've been in Southern Cal the entire time. Riverside and San Bernardino County for the most part. So, all right, next one. KR, you watched my stop for bypass on a way station video. Should have taken it to court and told them that your town does not have a turn lane into the spot where you guys want us to turn into. The scale, it has a double yellow or on both sides of the street, and I feel like it was not a safe place to turn. Okay, so there was a left turn lane, but it was not properly signed. There was a sign there, but one, it's after the left turn lane, after you already get past the left turn pocket there. And two, it's a green and white sign. Since when do mandatory instructions go on a green and white sign? They don't. So, and I did do an update video. I actually did beat that ticket. If you guys watched that video and did not see the update video, I actually beat that ticket. So you can watch those two videos for more details. Just find them here on my channel, by Way Station or something, or Boise City or Way Station. Okay, Casey Doss. Hi, Scott. I'm driving for JBS soon. I'm going to be in the Pittsburgh facility. My orientation starts on the 26th, so we see how it goes. I get my drug test done and road test, and then from there I get my truck and start making money. Write me soon about how JBS is with drivers like dispatch and stuff like that. Write me soon if you can. Thanks. All right. So, I've never driven for JBS specifically, so I can't really give you any expertise on, or even third party, through the rumor mill stuff about what it's like to be a JBS driver. I know their main facility is in Greeley, Colorado. JCT does go there. We do a lot of loads out of Cactus, Texas. They have another facility. Which one is it? Grand Island, Nebraska, or is it Lexington, Nebraska? I always get there's Tyson and JBS up there. One's in Lexington, one's in Grand Island. I always get those two mixed up. Um, I do have a friend who drives for national carriers, and he generally runs whether it's beef loads, actual beef loads, or he might actually run equipment from one facility to another too. So I don't know if JBS drivers do the same thing, and I don't know anything about that Pittsburgh facility. So all I can really say is wish you best of luck on that. Hopefully that's a local area gig for you there, or you're close to home at least. And even if you go OTR per se, not really OTR when you're with JBS because you're only ever doing JBS related loads, then more likely, or loads that benefit JBS in some way. Um, so I don't really know anything about them. I don't know if their drug test is urine test only, or if they also do hair follicle or whatever. Um, so really nothing I can really help you with there, to be honest with you. I wish I could help, but I'm of no help on that one. Okay, so Brandon Kelly, 3 days ago, we were talking about my truck being in the shop. He's never seen me drop my hometown of Wisconsin before. They make some really good sausage sticks and cheese sticks if you ever get to try them. They also make some really good deer meat here in Wisconsin. Okay, man, Brandon, you seem like you're everywhere. There was one time you made me think you were up in the Tracy area because you asked me about Tracy, and then last time you said you were from Phoenix, and then now you're from Wisconsin. I can't place where exactly you're at or where you're from now. But okay, so first an update on my truck because I think I forgot to mention it. I'm down for a bad ECM. It's at the dealer in Tucson, and I'm waiting for them to show up and give me a new get me a new ECM. It's on back order. Those of you guys who are friends with Scotty D67 and I both know Simi on the Road here on YouTube. She works here in our breakdown department now. She used to be a driver, and she just recently got off the road and started in our breakdown department this week. I talked to her personally yesterday, face to face, when I was here waiting in line to get my truck and trailer washed, and found out they're on back order for the part. So who knows how long it's going to sit there waiting for the part. Hopefully not too long, but it's going to take some time. So I'll probably be in this loaner truck for at least a few weeks if I had to guess. Hopefully not that long, but we'll see how it goes. But on the other part of Brandon's comment there, yeah, sausage sticks and cheese sticks. There's a place right there, I think by where I-90 and 39 meet up, that is truck friendly, and they have all these cheese curds and sausage stuff that you can get. Good place to stop. I remember when I was first getting trained, my trainer and I had a load that we delivered in Oshkosh, a load of cheese from Idaho. Funny because Wisconsin always so big on its cheese, but I always joke that they get all of their cheese from California and Idaho because I've delivered cheese that I picked up in California that came right off the milk truck at Leprino Foods or Saputo in Central California and taken them here up to Wisconsin. Or that load that I picked up in Idaho, I can't remember if it was Wow Logistics in Jerome, Idaho, or if it was a place in Twin Falls, Idaho. They're in the same area. But that load went to Oshkosh, and I remember on the way back down from Oshkosh, we ended up stopping at that place there by where 90 and 39 meet up, and a pretty cool place there. Yeah, I got a lot of good sausage and cheese stuff out that way. I agree. Deer meat, I'm always for. I'm a sucker for good deer meat, so. I know some of you guys don't like Bambi, don't want to touch Bambi, but Bambi is really delicious. You should try it. It's if you haven't already had it. X pickle pie automatics are great until you try to back up to a dock and the clutch grabs and launches you backward like a bat out of hell. All right, that's a good. It's interesting on that because when I was picking up my last load in Belvedere, Illinois, I ended up running into a friend there. Actually, I knew he was going to be there because we were interacting on Facebook, and yeah, we ended up talking in person there while I was sitting in the dock door. And anyway, his truck is in the shop or was in the shop, and it turned out it was the clutch. I guess went out, and what he had like 300,000 or 400,000 miles on the vehicle, and it's an auto shift. It's like, how do clutches always go? Every time I hear about a clutch going bad on a truck, it's in an auto shift. How come I don't hear about people needing to change the clutches on their manuals very much? My truck's a manual 10 speed, and I got 855,000 or so miles on it now. Never changed the clutch yet, and it's still in just perfectly fine shape. Um, and Pickle Pie talking about backing up, and this is a good example of what causes the clutch to wear out on those auto shifts. When you go to back into a spot, like I had a good example. I had a trainee. I was having back into one of the spots that back up against the fuel island at the Loves in Kingman, Arizona. If you guys are truckers, you know. You got the spots, you got the fuel island, and then there's some spots right here next to them. Well, you can see that on a satellite view, but you can't see on the satellite view that when you back into those spots, it's uphill. Or at least it was at the time. I don't know if they fixed that when they redid that lot, but because I never use that particular parking area anymore. I think it's still down in a lower area though. But yeah, you go up, and then you have to go uphill to back into your spots there, and it's very common where driver, especially even on flat terrain, a rookie driver is likely to just kind of tap the throttle and then let go, tap the throttle, or hit the brakes, tap the throttle, hit the brakes, whatever, because they're worried that they're going to hit something. Well, I'll tell you what, that's not good for the truck, because every time you do that, you're messing with the clutch. Even though you're not operating the clutch, there is actually a physical clutch on there. It's just like a regular manual transmission, but it's just computer controlled instead of pedal controlled. When it does that, the clutch gets hot, and as the clutch gets hot, you put wear and tear on it, and it also warps on top of it. So there are going to be times when you're trying to, when you're kind of near that friction point, and you're going to hear kind of feel a. That's kind of what it feels like when you have a warped clutch plate. And when it slips, then you'll just start revving the engine, and you're not getting a reaction out of the truck with it to go with it. And backings seems to be precisely what is causing all those clutch changes, if I had to guess. So yeah, it's those are not good. And they do have the creep mode on them, on the auto shifts, so you can, if you gotta, basically smash the throttle briefly or tap it twice, whatever, and it'll go into creep mode. And and it's creep mode's great. Even when I'm in my own truck, my creep mode is just let my clutch pedal all the way out and let the truck do what it's going to do naturally without touching the gas the accelerator pedal. I try not to call it a gas pedal on the truck because we don't use gas, we use fuel, and it's more appropriately an accelerator or throttle. But anyway, use creep mode as much as you can. And since that got brought up, if you're a new driver, don't hit the damn brakes so much, and don't fixate on one specific detail on the trailer. Yeah, don't sit there and watch your tandems the entire time. You got to be moving your eyes everywhere. Watch where the ICC bar is at in relation to the line or the truck that's on, or the truck or trailer that's on either side of you. If you know that your ICC bar is real close to the line on the side, you're not in any you're not in any danger, at least yet, of hitting the guy on your blind side. Let's see, what are some like the ICC bar and its position, the tandems where they're positioned, the off track that your tractor and trailer have from each other, where your tractor is positioned itself, where it's facing. All that, those are all details you got to be watching, and even also looking in your right mirror to make sure nobody's trying to walk or drive by you when you're trying to maneuver, with I mean, going in that direction. Lots of little detail there. Um, so it's just more good vacuum tips there. And I say, don't be so afraid to let the truck move that you're constantly hitting the brake pedal, gas, the accelerator, brake, accelerator, brake. That's not going to do you any good. You're not going to learn as effectively when you won't let the truck move. And it's, like I said, it's going to put wear and tear on the clutch, even in an auto shift. All right. I think that's it for the comments. So, and I need to get going, and I want to get on duty and get moving and go get my load picked up. So I'm going to get out of here, and we'll give you guys an update some later time. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.